I might be a little bit late, but I have been reading the comments. So today we're going to be making a brand new tier list ranking every meta unit in Anime Last Stand as of the Blue Lock update. Keep in mind this video is just my opinion, but I still hope you enjoy or find it helpful. If you do, maybe leave a like or subscribe. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, before we get started, I do kind of want to mention we have an update right around the corner with quite a few units and buffs, so if you see this in the future, it might age pretty poorly. But of course for the rankings, we're going to have meta overall, meta infinite, meta early, support, decent, and farms. Now I went ahead and got the farms out of the way. Idol is the most cost efficient, she also has a buffing ability, Yojin is pretty cheap and makes good money, and Robin makes the most amount of money but is very expensive. Starting off with the Blue Lock update, we have Rin. This guy has a passive where he does more damage if you don't have other units in his range. If you do get that passive at full value, he's pretty okay for damage, but otherwise, I'll throw him in decent, he's alright. Nagi is, in my opinion, meta early. He's very cheap hybrid, he has good damage, and a passive that will increase his damage the first time he hits something. Very good for early waves. Sai, or Sei, also pretty good for early waves. He does have Perfect Seal, very cheap, hybrid placement, and he does have a couple supporting passives that can help buff his teammates. Put him in meta early. Shido, another raid unit, he's pretty okay. His damage is just alright, and he does have a couple passives that increase his range, I think. But it doesn't really matter when he is just a circle AoE, so I'll put him in decent behind Rin. Isogo, in my opinion, is meta overall. Very cheap, he gets hybrid on upgrade 1, so it can be used as an early unit. He does have a couple supporting passives which are pretty good, and his damage is pretty strong. Kaiser is pretty okay. This guy has kind of similar to Shido. I think he has range increasing passives, but his damage is a little bit better, so I put him right here. And then Baro, this guy is a damage dealing unit. He has a damage dealing passive, and his damage is just all he has. He doesn't have anything special going for him, so I'll throw him in decent, and his damage is just okay. Animated Crow, or Itachi. No way he just threw in that Naruto reference in there. This guy got a divine boost not too long ago, and he is actually pretty good. They buffed his damage quite a bit. One of his passives is broken, where he doesn't kind of chain black flames. You have to wait a full attack before you can use it again. So his DPS is kind of low, and I put him in decent for now. But if that bug gets fixed, he's pretty alright. Icarus is okay for full AoE, cheap hybrid bleed. Put him at the top of decent. Actually really good. If you pair him with Sunwoo, he does gain bonus damage as well. Gon is a pretty solid infinite unit. He does have infinite damage potential based on the waves that pass, so pretty okay. Gilgamesh, another infinite unit because of his nuke, which did recently get buffed with his divine boost. Pretty good for infinite and tournaments as well. Pride is just alright after the godly rework. I will say meta overall because he is still pretty strong for damage, and fire teams can be great with him. But not the best out of the godlies. We'll talk about the other ones at some point. Genos I'd also say is meta overall, because there are fire teams that you can use like Pride and everything, and also Saitama's really good with Genos. Genos has good teammates and he is pretty good in the meta right now because he is just very strong with them. Hero Hunter, the monster form. This one actually is pretty good for meta early, I'd say, just because he's perfect heal and pretty cheap and good damage. Tatsumaki, also meta early, very cheap, good damage, and a good slow and hybrid replacement. Yoruichi, probably meta overall, but kind of falling off. She did get nerfed and buffed at the same time this update with a bolt change, so pretty solid after that. Ryuk, I would say, is meta infinite. You do actually want to use both the Evo and Unevo in leaderboard runs, so I don't have the Unevo one here, but I put him right next to him. Osoi I'd throw in decent. He's just okay. His damage is getting outdated already. Saitama, meta infinite for sure. Very good for building up high damage nukes if you get all his passives full value, so very good. Cosmic Garo is probably the top of the game meta overall, in my opinion, honestly. Very good damage at upgrade 3, you can get his damage dealing passive, full AoE because of his Cosmic Dust Storm passive. I have a full video breaking down why he's so good, but mostly his Galbi Leader skill is going to be crazy. And Baldi form of Garo is just kind of like a worse version of the normal Baldi, so he can be used in infinites, but there are better options. I put him right here. Dio is actually really good support after the Galdi rework. He has a couple good passives and abilities for supporting his team, and his personal damage is also pretty good. Yor is kind of falling off already, but she does some pretty okay damage and has weakened. She is ground only though. I'd put her probably above Osoi right here. Yuta, he did recently get nerfed, I don't even know why, but he just has raw damage. Because of that nerf, I just put him here. All he really has is damage now, and it's not very high. Rias is okay for a full AoE conquered unit. I'd put her probably right above Osoi. Vambietta is a pretty okay fire hill unit, pretty okay damage, but probably just decent right here. If you're wondering about her kill duping bug that people use in tournaments, that did get patched now, if you're wondering. Mitsuri I'd say is also decent. I'd put her probably right above Vambietta. Full AoE and Hemorrhage is pretty good as support, and her damage isn't that bad. Fubuki is pretty good, probably meta overall, and pretty high in it, like maybe right here. Cheap unit early game, she does have Blizzard, full AoE, and a good support passive, so very good. Albedo is kind of a damage buffer after her re-release in the Valentine's Part 2 update. Pretty okay damage, but mostly a support. Lightning Queen, full AoE conquered unit, I'd say like in decent tier she'd probably be right here, but can't be used as a support. Any full AoE conquered unit can kind of be used as a support, so I'll put it right there. Ichigo is the worst godly in the game right now. All he has is damage, and his damage is just okay. I'd put him in meta early because he is cheap to get good damage, but yeah, that's all he's really good for right now. Shion also caught a stray like Yuto. I don't know why she got nerfed, but she did get her damage nerfed. I'd say probably indecent, but not very high after that nerf. Zoro I'd say is also indecent, pretty good damage for Hemorrhage, but not top of the meta anymore. Harumi, all three modes have different things to say. DPS mode is very good for damage, meta overall for sure. Support is good for infinite runs because it has a chance to kill every 5 attacks, I think. This one might be kinda obvious, but her buff mode is a buffer, and probably the strongest one in the game. Roger can be pretty good for tournament runs and some infinites because he has a non-global nuke, which means you can sell and replace him and spam it. Pretty good for nuking a bunch, but other than that, going here and decent. Usopp fell off like crazy, his damage is kind of already getting power crept, and especially with a Garo lead meta, his crit chance thing gimmick doesn't really matter, so I'd put him probably in decent and right here. Subaru is a buffer, he's pretty good, put him behind Dio. Wukong can be good for some cases, he does really high DPS, I think the #1 DPS in the game right now. His leader skill can be good in tournaments kinda, and overall very solid unit, meta overall for sure. Erwin is a pretty strong buffer, I put him probably right behind Subaru. Shaheen is kind of falling off, but I will throw her in decent. She's kind of an early light unit, but we do have better options for that now. Luffy is definitely meta overall, very solid unit with good damage and good abilities, and also a really good like general leader skill. You don't need to build your team any special way to use him, so put him right here. Lenji's damage is kind of getting power crept, but he can still situationally be good for support with his blue flame passive. I'll throw him in here. Armin can still be kind of meta early because he's cheap and does have weekend. Not the best meta early unit anymore, but I'll throw him here. Sukuna is very strong. He has really high damage, really good abilities. He did get nerfed recently. I don't know why. His passive, it was strong, but like they nerfed it a little bit too hard. I throw it in meta infinite. He's very good for infinite and tournament runs, and he put probably right here. Aizen is, in my opinion, still meta overall, still pretty good. Full AoE, pressure, very good damage, and pretty usable in every game mode, pretty cheap. So, throw him right here. Beast Rohan did get reworked recently. Not very good, honestly, in my opinion. Like, not a good rework, because it kind of took away his unique thing of boss damage, but he's a very solid unit now, very strong, and I put him in meta overall right here. Gogeta is still okay for infinite runs because he does have a unique ability, but other than that, he is just kind of alright. Giorno has everything going for him, very cheap, very good damage, full AoE, percent-based damage. I don't know, this guy's going to be meta for a very long time, but I'll throw him probably right here. I personally think Ainz is pretty good too. I don't think he's that bad. I think he is probably meta overall and right about above Aizen maybe, if I can move him. There we go. Very good damage, pretty expensive, but very solid passives and abilities. His nuke is pretty good, and he's really good for AoE DPS right now. Kaido pretty much has everything going for him. Good damage and passives and abilities. You can use him in pretty much everything. Put him right here. Antares is very weak. He's a niche fire unit buffer. I put him in bottom of support. I hope he gets buffed soon. He's very bad. Madara did recently get buffed. He's pretty good now. Meta infinite for sure. He's always been good for his rewind and nuke, and those are still just as good. And his passives and damage is higher now. Naruto is a pretty okay support. He does buff damage and range. I throw him probably right about here. Guts is also pretty good for full AoE regen canceling, but his damage is kind of falling off. I throw him decent and right here. Right here. Gremmy is okay for an early unit, very good for his random passive, but his damage is kind of getting power crept now. Goku, definitely meta overall, very good damage, very good abilities, very good passives, everything like that. He's a godly, very strong one. Nidoqueen is just decent, she's kind of falling off because there are other Perfect Seal units now, but she is Perfect Seal, and pretty good for progressive stages. Toto is an okay support for his rewind ability, but that is pretty much all he has going for him, so I'm right about here. And I'll move the law at the same time, they're pretty much the same unit. Jiren is, arguably meta early depending on the stage you're in, so I'd say like, for fire, he's meta early, and probably right about here. Sung Jin-woo, definitely a meta unit for sure, meta overall, very good for progressive, probably second best Godly in my opinion. Kind of falls off in Infinites, but it's okay, very very good for progressive, so. Asnot or Fear, this guy is a very niche support, he has like a better version of Fear, full AoE, and I put him at least above these two. Rimuru did recently get buffed, or kind of reworked, I don't know if it's a buff, his nuke got nerfed in my opinion, but pretty good overall now, very solid, very cheap damage there with a bunch of different passives, so above Fubuki, there we go. Goku Black, kind of falling off, Perfect Seal unit, kind of like Nidoqueen, but his DPS is really, really old now. Gojo, very good support, he does have his bubble, his nuke, his time stop, he's always going to be pretty good, but damage kind of falling off, you'd use him as a support only. Put him right here. Fushi is a very good support, especially with tournaments now, so you need his like reset the universe for a lot of tournament runs, and very good for resetting ability cooldowns. Gray is still a meta early unit in my opinion, full AoE, Blizzard on placement, very very good, and probably right here. Julius is an okay support, he does have a time stop and full AoE stun I think, so put him probably right here. Zamasu can be okay for infinite runs because he has a nuke that steals 10% of boss HP, which is kind of okay for one person to bring in a leaderboard run, so put him right here. Kenpachi can be a meta early unit for the fire element, definitely better damage than Jiren. Boros, I'd say, is a decent unit, he's probably going right about here. He does have plasma, but nothing really going for him but that damage there. And then Ragna did recently get reworked, I'd say he's now a meta early unit because of all his different passives. Without his passives with like frozen enemies and hybrid enemies or whatever, he wouldn't be very good. With his passives in mind, I'd say he's meta early. With that, I think we're done. These are the final rankings, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion, so please do be respectful. I think it looks pretty good, hopefully it doesn't get changed too much after the next update, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you to my channel members for making this video possible, you guys are the best. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, hope to see you in the next one, and have a great day.